This is Theater Talk, and I am Elaine Stritich, and with me here is my co-host, George C. Wolfe, and our guests for today are the lovely, with a new haircut, Susan Haskell and Michael.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm in the hot seat now with these two mad theater people attacking me.
I hope we're not having more fun than the audience.
We're going to just switch this now back to the real interviewers here.
Okay, okay.
Elaine Stritich is at the Public Theater now with a show that I think is absolutely terrific. Funny and warm and moving and tender. The highlight of the theater season, Elaine Stritich at Liberty. It has been directed exquisitely by George C. Wolfe, the artistic director of the Public Theater, and we're very happy to have you both on this show.
Glad to be here.
Now, Elaine, when you were here a couple of years ago, you told us you were thinking about doing this show about your life.
Twinkle in my father's eye.
A twinkle in your father's eye. 2 years later, it's now up. What is it like, first of all, just the tremendous response that you've had from the critics and from the audiences and the public, and you're moving to Broadway with it? I mean, this is one of the biggest things you've ever done, and you've done a lot of big things in your career.
Well, I find it a very, very hard question to answer. As a matter of fact, I'm still trying to answer it for myself. And I'm glad I have lived long enough to know what the hell is going on around me. And when you are all there with no crutches, no anything, you're just 100% black and white in your life, and you get praise like I've gotten in the last, what, George, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Absolutely.
It's very, and I know this sounds, I don't mean to have this sound sour grapes, because I am on top these days. I feel deep down inside absolutely so full of joy that I can hardly express it. But what I also can't hardly do is accept it.
Really?
Because I think when people talk in such terms as you just did, very, very hard. Very hard to accept. You know, I remember the first time I ever heard that failure was easier than success. I thought, well, you please. I mean, and I'm beginning to know what they're talking about. For you to adjust to that kind of adulation is something else, Michael, Susan. I really find it very hard to explain. And then you have to try to start believing that what they're saying is true.
Can that rattle you as a performer?
Oh, yes. Can I live up to what he just said to me? You read a notice like Brantley's or Simon or that wonderful writer, Margot Jefferson. Is that right? Yeah. When a critic says at the end of her notice, everybody has a right to see this show, I get a lump in my throat. I can hardly accept that. That's big time criticism, critique. And when I go out there the next night, I say, can I live up to what that woman thought of me? Is this really true?
But she can't she, George?
Absolutely, every single night she does.
And has from the beginning.
And has from the beginning, and has through the entire rehearsal process. I mean, I think what Elaine is speaking about, as an artist, the thing that you're most comfortable inside of is the work. And everything else swirling around you becomes overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming. So I completely understand what she's saying, but it's, you know, it's in the doing, I guess, and it's not in the enjoying. I don't know. It's fascinating.
How did you get involved in Elaine Strichich's life?
How did that happen? I mean, we had met before, but it was on the panel with John Lahr. Is that the first time we talked?
That's right.
Now, John Lahr, who's helped you shape the show and write the show.
Has he ever? Has he ever?
John was the moderator on a panel that Elaine and I were both on, and then
it was the anniversary of the New Yorker.
Yes.
Right.
And we did a breakfast someplace, and we had an audience, and they asked questions and answers, and you said something that day that I have totally forgotten.
It changed her life.
Yeah. Now, you said, I'll tell you what you said. And I zeroed in on George Wolfe. I said, oh, God, he's got to have something to do with my life. He's got to. He said on that show that we all must be kind and considerate of talented people, because the untalented people will get there. Now wait a minute, say it.
Oh, it's a Russian proverb,
All right.
which is, you must support talented people because untalented people will make it without your support.
Excellent.
And I said,
This was this side of the aisle. And you thought, when he said that, you thought, this is a man I want to work with. This is a man, if I'm going to do my life story on the stage, I want this man to direct.
well, it wasn't that quick. I mean, it was just, I know what I like, and I like what I saw, and I said to myself, that's for me. That was a sign to me. When somebody says, if that's important to him, then he's going to be important.
What did she bring you when she first met with you? What was her
Cappuccino?
Exactly.
What was her idea for the show?
Well, she just started telling stories, and I was sitting there laughing and in awe and amazed. And the main thing, I think the first time that we met and talked, I remember it was the day that I had to post the closing notice for Wild Party. So
right.
it was
difficult.
So it was incredibly, and I left that meeting just with this incredible sense of somebody who has survived the rhythms of being an artist, and as a result of it, and I felt empowered from the meeting, and so my feeling was that if the show can do that, if the show can not only be an entertainment but somehow have the ability to empower people who are in the audience, then I totally want to be in the room. And aside from the fact of being in a room, working with, it's so great when you work in a room where an artist is like there. They aren't there, they're there. And Elaine is there. And so that therefore when you have those encounters, you end up growing, because then it allows you to play, to really, really, really play. And there's nothing remedial going on. You're not going A, B, C. You're already constructing sentences and flying around the room. So that was just, as an artist, that was exciting me, but also just the fact that I was empowered that afternoon by the stories she was telling.
And how difficult was it for you, the two of you working together, and Lahr too, to put down your whole life, all of the experiences in your life, into 2 hours and 40 minutes?
Well, the script was, Michael, the script was 65 pages when we finally got it together. When John Lahr and I finally submitted a script to George. And cutting it was very painful. But boy, what good news that is when you're having trouble cutting because everything is working. That really frightens you. I am sick of the people that I left out of that 2.5 hours down at the Public. It really bothers me, because I know they want to hear it, and I know I want to tell it, and I can't, because I said up front I didn't want the curtain to go down any later than 10:30, because I think it's wrong.
Yeah,
I think it's enough theater. Enough is enough.
And you were responsible for a lot of the cutting. I mean, you have the detachment as the director to say, this is a wonderful segment, vignette, Elaine, but it has to go because it's not as important as something else, or
well, it's part of the collaborative dynamic that in addition to being it being Elaine's story, it's a play to me. It is completely and totally a play, and so that therefore after a while, when the play has its own rules, and so therefore it was me not going this. It's like, so after at one point it was us obeying the play. Obeying the rhythms and the truth of the play and the emotional journey of the piece.
In the emotional journey, you tell not only the story of your career as an artist, but you talk about the trajectory of your life as an alcoholic, becoming an alcoholic, discovering that, realizing it, and recovering it. Was that always a priority for you in the script? Did you always?
No. It's so much a part of my life that how could I tell my life without mentioning the medicine that made me able to begin to live my life. I couldn't live without something to bring me down to some kind of normal condition. I mean, I was like this, you know, just like this. I was so tense. And the big mystery in life, and I do it in the play, and I think we do it quite well in the play. I was just fine till I was 12 years old. So what made me fine there? Why did I need anything? But the minute I tried something, oh, my God.
As you see it, would you have had your career without the alcohol? I mean, that's what I...
Supposition is not only a bore,
yeah,
but it is impossible.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. I didn't have my career without. When I found out what I was like, and it was true, it wasn't some big devil saying, ah, ha, ha. The devil came when I wanted 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drinks, because anybody with a brain in their head, if they feel like I did, with one, ha, ha, where can this lead to? I'm ready. Because the second one's going to be terrific. And by the time you get to the 8th, you're not quite sure what terrific is all about, you know, and you're out to lunch. So, and I'm not saying that I was this kind of a drunk. I was not. I was.
Well, you held it together. I mean, you're
elegant.
Yes, and
My dear.
one of the things I'm struck about in the show is you talk a lot about the drinking, but your career keeps going and going
That's
and going.
it.
One triumph after the
But
next.
Michael, that's what
you know,
makes alcohol to an alcoholic so dangerous, because it works. But all of a sudden, it doesn't work. That's the scary part. But the real reason that I put down the drink, I wanted to find out if I had any talent. I wanted to find out who, in God's name, if you'll pardon the connection, I was.
Was there a specific incident that happened in your life to make you put down the drink?
I became a diabetic. This is not the, I think there's so many reasons why I put the drink down. My main one was to find out who the hell I was. Really, with nobody's help. That's what I wanted to find out, if I could do it. So I must have known somewhere that in the gut of me there was a strong talent. And the good news that I can't tell you the joy that I report this. I've discovered a woman who has a kind of talent that I never would have known about had I not put the drink down.
And you put it down after company, after so many triumphs.
Oh, this
on
got
Broadway,
me through all those shows. I was terrific.
Now,
I'm not kidding you. I went out there and...
now George picks up the drink now, having working with you, right? That's what he's done.
Right. Well,
Okay.
let me tell you what he said. We were all at the Regency Hotel having a big business meeting. Of course, now that I'm a writer, I have lunch with Claudia Schiffer. What can I tell you? But I'm sitting there, and oh God, don't let me forget what I was going to say. Oh, and I said, I'd like to see what would happen to all of you. There was Robert Cole and Sam Cohen, my agent, and John Schreiber, best producer anybody could have the fortune to be connected with. And who did I leave out?
Oh, I think that Margot was there, Margot Lyons.
Margot Lyons
Yeah.
and John Lahr.
Yes.
And I said, what would happen? Larry Grossman.
Yeah,
what would happen to all of you? I'd like to have a shot, a camera shot on all of you. If I looked at the waiter and said, could I have a Gibson straight up, please? And George Wolfe said, we do the sequel. And if I ever pick up a drink again, part two is going to open, I don't know, off or on Broadway, but somewhere.
Elaine Stritich, boy, is she at Liberty.
All right, let's pretend for a moment.
Elaine Stritich, and I mean
at Liberty.
Let's pretend Elaine isn't here for a minute.
Yeah.
And tell us, George, what is it, how do you as a director tackle this force of nature? I mean, do you assert yourself and say, I'm your director, you have to do it? How do you work with someone like Elaine Stritich?
No, I don't think you do that with anybody. I mean, I think the thing which is, once again, if the artist is smart, it really helps. If the artist is emotionally available to themselves, and if there and a few artists are dramaturgically smart, they know when material works or when there's a beat too many and all that sort of stuff. Then it's just about sharing ideas and bouncing. So that's what it was like. I mean, it's been a wonderful, joyous, dynamic of working together. So there was never, I never go boom like that, because why would you? Because we're all ultimately trying to solve the same problem, which is how to make everything clearer and more available to an audience. And the thing which became very clear to me, that I think that Elaine has done so many plays that I think that were written by really, really, really good people, and I'm sure her own share of plays that were written by not so great plays, by not especially great writer, so that therefore I completely, totally trust her barometer of this moment is clear, this moment isn't clear, this feels fake, I don't know what, you know what I mean? So that therefore it's just, I mean, I think the whole process of creating a play is like I think everybody's like some kind of ferret. You're just digging, digging, digging to get to the most basic level of truth, and then connecting that to a rhythm that an audience can ride. And so that's what the process was like. It was, you know, I don't think there was ever an argument? I don't think we had an argument. No, no.
You were working on the same level.
We're very much alike, I think, George and myself.
In what ways?
Well, I think our humor is dangerously close. I think we react emotionally to criticism the same way, or to praise the same way. We've identified with each other quite a bit since we've been working. I just thought of something that I thought I should say. I do that a lot. I just thought of. I came off the stage about a week ago, and the first thing out of my mouth was, "My God, I had fun. I had fun. I had fun out there tonight." I haven't said that ever.
Oh, really?
In all the shows?
Ever. No, I didn't think in terms of that. I didn't think of terms.
How
of
were
that.
you thinking?
Oh, when I did Delicate Balance, which was one of the things I thoroughly did not enjoy. It was so difficult, but boy, did I love it, if you know what I mean. What a play, and what an experience doing that every night. But I never said I had fun. And an actor doesn't mean we're telling jokes.
Right.
I don't mean that. I enjoyed telling my story. And the thing that made me come to that more than anything else, more than George's direction, more than anything, but George's direction brought me to this point, when somebody says to me, I cry at the drop of a hat, so bear with me. When someone said, the first person, and lots of people have said it, who came backstage and said to me, "What a gift." And I'll tell you who it was. Jules Fisher's wife.
Oh, Graciela.
Graciela Danielle.
Yeah.
Yes, the choreographer and dancer.
I'm sorry, Graciela. You ought to be damn glad you're getting mentioned. Graciela said to me at a run-through
Oh, yeah,
at the
in the
Public
rehearsal,
Theater,
yeah.
"This is not a performance, this is a gift." Oh, my God, Susan, I can't tell you. I just wept, because that gets me through the show. If I can remember that, and you know, God knows how many times George said it to me. You owe this to the audience. They're waiting to hear about this. It's about survival. It's about making it. And I don't mean making it.
Yeah.
There's a marvelous moment, and I think it might speak to how the two of you work together, when you sing Zip.
Zip. It took intellect to master my art. Zip. Who the hell is Margie Hart?
And you sing a bit of the song, and then you stop and you tell an anecdote from your life, and it's really terrific. And was that a directorial decision to put that together?
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, because the show is about this. I mean, that song in particular, which is a wonderful song, but it's also a list song, if you will, and she performs it brilliantly. But then, right after she would sing the song, then she would tell the story about what she went through to do this, to deliver this number when she was going back and forth between New York and New Haven, and I thought it was a rare opportunity, because audiences come to see a show and they go, "Isn't that person marvelous? Isn't that person wonderful?" Having no idea how much somebody has to kill themselves to deliver.
Right.
So I thought that this was the quintessential classic theater story about somebody driving themselves insane so they can get out there and the audience can have fun.
And we should just say that you were doing two shows at the same time. One you were doing Call Me Madam on Broadway, and
Standing by for Merman.
Standing by for
all
Merman.
I had to do was knock on her door at half hour, and she'd say, "I'm fine, Elaine," and then I was out of there.
And then you'd go to New Haven, where you were
where I
trying
had
out a
one
show.
great song in the second act, and I figured and
Which was
worked
Zip.
it out, which was Zip. I could get there in 2 hours. on the Merritt Parkway and get on the stage, you know, ready to go on, ba-boom, and sing the song. So the seed of this problem came when I sing a song that I'm not sure today's audience will sit still for. Some of it's good, but along I think that had something to do with George's idea to fill it in. As a matter of fact, what he did and what I do every night is I'm absolutely showing you what I meant by the first line in the play. And it's a lie. I don't care about blowing it because people who are watching this show, they better come to see the show. That's all I can say. But I'm here in the rain trying to make him come. But I'll tell you something. I don't know who said this line. I don't know who said it, and I don't know where I heard it. It seems to be connected with my dad, some way, who was he was divine. Anyway, funny and adorable. But anyway, this is the line. When I come out on the stage at night, and I look at the audience, and I, as we all know, and God knows the critics made it quite clear, I have left my 60s. I come out, the spot hits me, and I say this line that I have no idea where I heard it, but it strikes me brilliantly funny because it's so true. And the line is, well, and they laugh at that, which I think is just terrific, because it all has the aura of I'm out here. Well, and the line is, as the prostitute once said, it's not the work, it's the stairs. Think about it. Is that a great line?
Brilliant line.
That's a great line.
And it is.
Exactly.
I mean, you ought to know what I went through today to get here. Now I'm having fun.
Exactly.
But the trip, I didn't have time to comb my hair out. And I'm going to tell you one more story before you say another word. I've got, if I ever thought I'd live to see the day that I was secure enough to go on a television show with rollers in my hair. But with those notices, I don't want to go too far now with my freedom.
Zip, take it off.
But I'm going to squeeze this in. I finally met Katharine Hepburn, and I went backstage when she was doing Chanel. Coco, Coco. And I went back, and I just love her. And I said to her, Miss Hepburn, in all of your career, what has been the most difficult thing for you to handle? Okay, you asked me that, and I'll do Hepburn. Go ahead.
So, Ms. Hepburn, in all your career, what has been the most difficult thing to handle?
My hair. I said, this is an honest woman. That's what she said. She never said anything. Go, Mike, I'm sorry.
Was there ever any concern of, in doing her life, there is the sort of Elaine Stritch image, maybe even the cartoon we think of Elaine Stritch. Did you ever worry about sort of leaving the reality of the woman and just getting the Elaine Stritch Broadway type personality that we know? Did you try to avoid that in this show to make it more truthful, more personal, more intimate?
Well, no, I don't think anybody was interested in that. She wasn't interested in that. I mean, you know, the script that was crafted demanded something else.
We didn't want the ladies who lunch Stritch. We wanted something deeper, something.
Well, the thing which is very interesting, at one point in previews, that song ended the show, and Elaine was very, very restless and determined to have it not end the show. She said, because you know, it's a great song and I love doing it, but my life is my life.
It's not the be all and end all of my life, but it is definitely a part of me.
Absolutely.
I know those broads. And I care about them. And the reason that I care about them doesn't make it a mean-spirited song. Right. It's understanding. What does she say in the interest of Sondheim never makes any mistakes? He fixes it so that everybody's included. Everybody, look into their eyes and you'll see what they know. Everybody dies. Yeah. And everybody tries. I mean, all those women at Le Cirque,
we'll be coming to see you at the Neil Simon now.
Exactly.
We can't get to the public. You know?
Yeah,
can't get into
coming backstage to see me, I hope.
Well,
with their hair combed out.
Exactly.
It's a great show. Brilliantly written and tremendously well acted, and really marvelous direction, George. Just terrific. We wish you luck at on Broadway at the Neil Simon for 14 weeks beginning
February 6th.
February 6th.
It's a big challenge now, you know, because we're going into a great big house
theater.
from this darling doll's house, this amazing house down at the Public. So it's going to be, oh, here we go again. You got to go through the
You got to start all over again,
Exactly.
directing it. You've got to change it completely for a larger.
Yeah, and try to maintain the intimacy of the event, because the ultimate intimacy is between Elaine and the audience.
Right. And her personality is so small, so you have to sort of make her broaden it a little out for the larger theater.
He can change the proscenium. He ain't going to change me.
She wins.
Exactly.
It's been a great pleasure having you on the show, George C. Wolfe, the director of Elaine Stritch at Liberty, and Elaine Stritch, who is the star of At Liberty.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Susan. Bongo, 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 I don't want to leave the Congo. Oh, no, 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 no. Ba, 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 bing, bang, bong. I'm so happy in the jungle, I refuse to go. Don't want no high heels, mud pack, haircut, nail paint, padded brassiere. No matter how they coax me, I'm going to stay right here. They have something called a nuclear bomb, so I think I stay where I am. Civilization, I stay right here. I no go there.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Friedrich Loewe Foundation, the CORY and Bob Donnelly Charitable Fund, the Eleanor Naylor Dana Charitable Trust, the Lucille Lortel Foundation, and public funds from the New York State Council on the Arts, a state agency.
Playbill Online is the official website of Theater Talk and the home of the Playbill Club, providing information and opportunities for theater lovers. We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you and good night.